Yo, how we doing? So, let's have a little bit of an overview of what your program is, what I need from your side, and what we need to do, and sort of general strategy going forward. Okay, so first thing I had to do, just to give you a bit of insight into how we do things. I'm a big fan of what's called minimum effective volume and maximum recoverable volume. Now we use these classifications here as a way of basically determining roughly to give us a good starting point of what the client might be able to tolerate, the minimum and maximum of what they might be able to tolerate, and then you generally go somewhere kind of down the middle, and then you can flirt both up and down depending on the responses as the weeks go on. So basically we're generally going to be going into more of a technical sort of like a hypertrophy sort of phase really to begin with. So that's roughly kind of the amount of working sets that you'll be doing on those specific movements, and then as we progress and get into a more of a strength phase, don't think of the first phase as hypertrophy, just think of it as more sort of like accumulating volume again, so I can get a better idea of how your movements are, and what we need to work on going forward. So that's just a very quick sort of like little insight into how we basically build this first week. So in terms of how the program's laid out for you, mate, okay, so week 1 will be all down here. Okay, I've got 4 sessions for you to complete. Again, if we need to do more, if we need to do less as time goes on, that's absolutely fine. Okay, but here is your first week. Now, as it stands at the moment, we are going to be working with RPE. Now, if you've never worked with RPE before, please let me know, and I will send over some resources your way that will give you a better understanding. It's one that takes a little bit of practice, and it does take a bit of getting used to. So for these first few weeks, you know what I mean, you are going to struggle sometimes, maybe overcooking it, undercooking certain things. It's no big deal. It's no big deal in these early stages. The point of these first couple of weeks is for me just to get a little bit more of an understanding of how you move and what we need to address. So there's a couple of things kind of in the videos that you sent over, but at the moment I don't want to over prescribe things and over cue them just yet. I still just want to get a little bit more information in there before we start going down the route of changing some of these exercises to be a bit more specific to you, and then I'll start delivering the coaching points that I want you to specifically focus on. Generally pretty solid. There are definitely a couple of things. Again, I just want another week of information gathering. So the way it works, so let's say beltless back squat to start with. Okay, back squat in your most comfortable position, how you would normally. 1 set of 6 out of 7 out of 10. So that means you should have had 3 reps, at least 3 reps left in the tank by the time you finish this last rep. Then you're going to pick up the weight a little bit. Okay, increase it to a set of 6 and 8, and then a set of 6 and a 9. Okay, so again, if you haven't used RPE before or have never heard of the concept, please let me know and I will happily change it for you. Close grip bench press, so all that has to be is your grip on your regular bench press has to come in about 2 to 3 fingers worth. It hasn't got to be like shoulder width, it's just got to come in ever so slightly. Walking lunges, that'll be 12 on each leg, and that'll be keeping the back knee off the floor. You can use dumbbells, you can use just body weight, you can have a sandbag on your shoulder, a barbell. The variation is entirely up to you with that one, but again, by the time you've done that 12th rep, you should have a couple more left in the tank. Now, competition bench press, okay, so anything with competition in it is as if it was set to a powerlifting standard. So what I mean by that is there's a pause on the chest, your feet stay down, your butt stays down, your head stays down on the bench at all times, okay, kind of like how you bench anyway, but I want to see that obvious pause there. Then down beltless paused back squat. Okay, so obviously no belt. Pause, it's just got to be a second or so in the bottom position. There just needs to be an obvious pause. Okay, so if I was to walk in the room, I could look over and be like, oh, he's definitely doing pause squats, you know, rather than just sort of like, oh, is that just a dodgy looking squat? Barbell row. Again, whatever you're most comfortable with. Okay, you can do that from below the knee, just above the knee. You can do dumbbell row if you want to, but that is entirely up to you with that one. Deadlift with a belt. Yep, that's absolutely fine. Okay, that can be sumo. That's absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with that. And then t-shirt bench press. Okay, so what I want you to think on this one is I want you to bring the bar all the way down to your chest, but I want you to imagine you've got a freshly ironed t-shirt on at this point. Okay, freshly ironed. Okay, imagine you go into a job interview straight after your session, and you're going to bring the bar down, and it is going to touch your chest, but it's got to touch your chest so gently that it would not crease or wrinkle or mess up the shirt. Okay, so it is touching you every time, but you're under full control. You're not just letting the bar dump onto you at any point. Then some more comp bench. I want to keep the volume very high for that. And then sumo from blocks, basically with the bar just below your knee. I just want to see how that final extension of the lockout works for you. And then more beltless squats at a very easy RP on that one. Okay, then it takes quite a fair jump in week 2. Okay, so there is a significant kind of adding lots of reps, adding lots of sets. This first week is just to get you used to the movements, and then basically we'll start bumping it up. So what it means here, so you're going to do a set of 5 at a 6, a set of 5 at a 7, a set of 5 at an 8. You then have up to 2 more chances doing 5 reps at a time until the same weight becomes an RPE 9. So let's just say as a round number, you've done 100 for 5 at an 8. So you had 2 more left in the tank. You would then have 2 more sets to do at that 100 kilos. If you do 1 more set and it feels like a 9 out of 10 that time, you stop there. If you do 2 sets and it feels like a 9 there, you stop there. If you do 2 sets and it's still not a 9, then we probably need to, next week, you need to go heavier here. Okay, so you've got 2 chances. If you do 1, that's fine. 2, fine. No more than 2, though. Okay, you're not just going to keep going until that becomes a 9. And then over here in week 3, week 4 even, the only thing that might be slightly different, okay, is, so with this one, okay, it's the same concept. So you're going to be doing a set of 5, a set of 5, a set of 5. Then you're going to take 5% of the weight off the bar, okay, because you've already done a set at a 9 here. Take 5% of weight off the bar, and then you have 3 goes to get that back up to a 9. Very, very rarely you see people do the full 3 sets on this one, but that is there. Okay, so that's the only thing that's going to be different, really, in terms of the structure as it stands. Then as we go further and further through it, I will be amending this sort of week on week. All of the main movements, so back squats, sumo deadlifts, and bench press, send as many videos over as you can, and then I will review the videos every week, usually on a Monday morning, sometimes on a Tuesday, but not very often. It's usually on a Monday, and then get your feedback out to you with coaching points specifically that I want you to work through. So if there's anything you're not sure of, if this program hasn't come through to you on your side, okay, and it's not adding up, let me know straight away, and we'll get around to it. But glad to have you on board, man.